As wise people often say, you can learn a lot from the past. But ironically, despite being a retro-inspired sequel to the fondly remembered arcade and NES games, Double Dragon 4 patently ignores the lessons of history. It slavishly works to emulate, both in look and controls, a game that was quickly iterated on and left behind by a slew of other arcade beat-em-ups. Even compared to the classics that immediately supplanted its predecessor, Double Dragon 4 feels shallow and dated. Ostensibly, Double Dragon 4's appeal is the nostalgia trip it takes you on, but this is immediately undercut by the fact that it takes all of its cues from the comparatively weak NES port instead of the far superior arcade version. Animations are stiff and lifeless, enemies look generic and unthreatening, and then there are the manufacturer technical issues. I can appreciate the effort it takes to build in visual glitches like screen tearing and flickering for the sake of authenticity if you're attempting to faithfully emulate an old game. But here, in a modern-day sequel, it just makes everything look uglier for nostalgia's sake. Despite taking its artistic inspiration from the console version, Double Dragon 4 takes pages straight out of the book of 80s quarter munchers, which is to say, it's cheap as all hell. Off-screen enemies you can't see are all too happy to hit you without recourse, and enemies will lie in wait atop ladders or over your own downed body to take cheap shots as you rise, leading to nearly unavoidable damage. At least you can get up with some invincible moves to clear a couple of enemies out, but the remaining ones will follow up afterwards and knock you right back down, creating a frustrating cycle of inescapable beatdowns. This wasn't a good time back in the 80s, and it certainly isn't a good time in 2017. That isn't to say that there's a challenge, though. You can employ the very same cheap tactics to the generic goons that shuffle slowly forth to stop you. It's easy to trivialize many of the fights just by repeating the same sequences of moves over and over. But this kind of combat is no more enjoyable when dishing it out than when receiving it. The only respite is that, like games that came before it, you can beat Double Dragon 4 in less than an hour, and even with a friend along for the ride, that's about as much time as I wanted to spend with it. It's not just that this simplistic beat-em-up hasn't aged well graphically or mechanically, it's that it simply isn't very fun or engaging to play. For more on Double Dragon 4, stay right here on IGN.